Hey everyone, welcome to the stream. Thanks for joining us. My name is David Lozeau for your first timers. If you're checking out the stream, appreciate you guys hanging out. I'm a Southern California based artist. Do a little painting tonight for you guys. So I'm gonna get going here. If you saw last week, we started this painting. So we're doing all the enamel, all the line work. So the background starts with acrylic, then I do all the colors, all the underpainting with gouache, and then the final stage is this enamel that you see me doing now. So basically we started this on a live stream last week. I cheated and did a little more in between to get it ready for tonight's live stream. So we'll get going and do all 3 skeletons tonight. So the fun part, lots of bones. So again, thanks for joining me throughout the stream. If you have any questions, feel free to fire them through. Thanks for hanging out again, and let's get after it. All the little phalanges.
Tony Griffin says, awesome work, sir.
Hey Tony, thanks man, appreciate it. Thanks for hanging out. Doing his part.
One member of the shipping department just snoring.
Yeah, snoring away.
Contribution. Brandy asks, what age did you start painting?
So Brandy, great question. So I always drew as a kid, you know, drew on my textbooks, got in trouble, did all that kind of stuff. I went to college and, sorry, sneeze. Excuse me. Sorry about that. So I went to college, got a graphic design degree and took fine art classes. I didn't take any painting classes. I took a couple watercolor classes. I don't count those as painting, but that was it. I didn't actually start painting until about 7 or 8 years after college. When I realized I kind of missed, you know, being creative at my job and wanted to do something fun, just kind of started, you know, sketching and drawing, which led to then painting. So, been probably painting now for, I always get the numbers wrong, it's been so long, almost 20 years? 20 years? But then been full-time now for about 10. Probably like 18 years total painting and basically full-time for about 10. Can't believe those numbers sometimes. Feels like a fraction of that.
Sawing logs. We took him to Lowe's today to do some house maintenance shopping, and he's just.
His favorite place to go is a Lowe's and not let people pet him. That's his favorite hobby. Oh, thank you.
Tony asks, what led you to the skeleton sculpting?
So I moved from Southern California about 15 years ago, and I just kind of started painting and doing, experimenting more with art. And I was exposed to the Day of the Dead celebration. Immediately, just the pageantry, the colors, the wonderful celebration. I was jealous I didn't have that kind of celebration in my culture. I was just so inspired by it, how wonderful and welcoming they were, and to have this day to remember your loved ones each year and share stories about them. It was just really inspiring and kind of just takes what I wanted to capture in my art, this idea of remembrance and capturing these moments in time. Basically, that gave me the direction, and that's what I've done ever since. It kind of just basically put me on that path, and it's been what I've done since then. Kind of infusing my own, culture and upbringing with it, and moments and experiences, and kind of fusing it into this hybrid that it is now. Again, I've always loved skeletons because, there's no, blonde hair, there's no, blue eyes, there's no black, white, there's no anything. It's capturing that moment, the purity of what's going on right in that moment, and not complicating it with identities, and who they are, it's kind of getting right to the core of what's going on. It simplifies it almost, and it's just really attracted to that.
He says no sugar skulls though.
So I've done some sugar skulls in the past. They're just, for me, it's so done. There's so much, that goes on with those, and there's so many artists doing them that for me it just wasn't interesting. Those I don't. There's so much more I think to be explored there. So I just kind of moved past that. Made a very conscious decision early on that I knew that everyone would be doing those years ago, and kind of just stayed away from that aspect. Tattoo guys and everybody else, I knew they would be flooded with people doing them before, the Disney movies and everything else. I just never really overly inspired to do them. I've done a couple of my art in the past and found some neat ways to do them, but it just wasn't one of those things that I was really drawn to.
Stacy says, yay, I caught you live.
Welcome, Stacy. Glad you caught me. We're here. Live, making mistakes.
There were some mistakes made.
Some mistakes have been made. Stop the stream!
Barry's asking, what is one of your Day of the Dead that you are most proud of? I assume he means paintings.
Which piece am I most proud of?
Well, I really liked what nobody's seen as a triptych. The one you just did recently with the Bounty of Life.
Yes, and that's probably from a Day of the Dead traditional style. That's definitely it's the most grandiose one we've done so far, and really
it was a custom commission, but because it was so horizontal, impossible to do prints of, we broke it up into 3 different pieces. So I don't know that anybody's seen it. Has anybody seen it as one piece? As one piece?
Just in the initial pictures I have a video I haven't edited yet of the painting process, but I don't think we've really showed it.
They can all stand alone as standalone paintings, but as a whole piece, it's very much of how you live your life, a couple celebrating the inevitability of death.
Very traditional kind of view.
Yeah, more traditional, but shoot, yeah, we would have to post that somewhere so you can see really what the whole thing means together.
And that piece was, 8 feet long by, I think, 2.5 feet tall. So that was really, and that's the kind of scale, and really a fun piece to paint.
Stacy said, I've shown my 16-year-old's artistic son your work, and he loves it. He draws all day long.
Oh, excellent.
can get a 16-year-old on your side.
Yeah, I am.
I don't know how one does that.
Not meeting you in person.
Yeah, so Barry's saying I can't wait to see it. Yeah, trying to think of a way. I could show it on screen, but it would just look mushy. If you go to the website, go to the Day of the Dead section, and you can kind of poke around there, and you'll see three pieces that clearly work together: bounty of life, in the moment, and the passing of time. That's literally the journey of life right there. It's three paintings with this very dark, moody, burgundy-ish background.
And if you're local to Southern California, the Bounty painting will be the poster for the Oceanside Day of the Dead event. If you're local to this area.
Brian says, nice to see a New Hampshire boy living his dream in Southern California. Well done, Dave. Quite a talent.
Thank you, Brian. Appreciate it.
Brian Walsh.
Brian Walsh. Oh, geez. Back home again. It's always crazy seeing those names pop up.
Nikki says, this is so relaxing to watch.
Thank you, Nikki. Appreciate it.
Matt Ditt says, evening guys, the new piece is looking awesome as usual. I'm like you and I'm really digging the cloth holes in this one.
Thanks, Matt. Appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, this is just, again, next to hair, cloth is the next favorite thing. This is packed with it. Remember to breathe. Keep holding my breath.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What you doing over there?
Mix in new paint. Go to the buns cam.
And I'll go to the doggy cam. Air Graphics Designs just dropping in to say hey man.
Hey, thanks for joining us again. Appreciate it. Paint was getting a little thick and rubbery. I don't like it.
You did what?
Paint was getting a little thick and rubbery, so just mix some new stuff.
Melissa Comstock says, I'm here, I made it.
There it is, on time.
Yeah, we started early on her. That's another.
Change the days.
Oh.
Yeah, we decided to mix it up. The painting was ready to go, so we thought we'd do a Monday stream for those who might not be able to make the. Seems to be able to be tended to do Wednesday, Thursday, Friday streams, so we thought we'd mix it up and give everybody a chance.
Carosciolo says amazing.
Hey, thanks Carciolo, appreciate it. Butcher in the name.
No, I think I got it.
No, I did. He's creepy.
Rebecca says I have the Dia de los Perros on my wall.
Excellent. Thank you, Rebecca. Great choice. Some of the models for that very piece are sleeping down at the house right now.
There's a boxer and a Vizsla in there that just so happens to live locally.
The Frenchie had not yet stormed onto the scene. It's gonna be a riblet filled live stream.
Mm-hmm.
All right, who else is working? Who's just farting off being lazy?
Well, 5:15 Pacific time. People just getting off of work, right? Probably thinking dinner or commute or whatever. Maybe leaving work late to avoid commute. East Coast, we're talking 8:15. Done for the day, right? Putting the kids in bed. I think only the Europeans will be working right now.
Yeah.
They're not here yet. Melissa says the shipping department looks wiped out. He is. We took him to Lowe's to get some house stuff, which is his favorite thing. While Dave's doing his buying elsewhere, I'm in the plant department outside walking him around, and he just loves it. We go on a sniffari, as they call it. Quite a good time.
But again, everyone wants to pet him, and he wants no part of anybody.
Everybody wants to pet him, and he just is like, no.
No, thank you. Not in like a mean way. He just doesn't care. He they pet him, and he goes, "Eh."
I feel bad. I have to apologize to everybody. He just doesn't really care about other people.
He really misses the opportunity to be a dog ambassador.
Yeah, he's not a Frenchie ambassador. Yeah, she's on about sniffari. We just learned about that one the other day. That don't always take them on walks where you have an objective. Take them on a little sniffari. And so I'm trying to do that more with all the dogs.
Let them determine the pace.
Yeah. No rules. They can just kind of poke around. Alan Kaufman says hi, David.
Hey, Alan. What's going on? What are you working on, Alan? How low am I in the frame? Stop at his hips.
Yeah, you might as well. Yeah. On Instagram, the chat takes up almost half the screen, which is the weirdest thing ever. But yeah, I just move over. All right.
All right. Just don't want to miss any of this stuff later.
Alan says he's at school working on a 5.9 Cummings.
All right. What's he popping into? What's he going into? It's a diesel engine. What's he slap? I will go over. Hold on. Instagram, sorry. 1 second. If I just forget about this spot, I could risk missing it. So let me fill this in. Then I shall move over. Riblets. Alright, I'll move over. Immediately says move over. Immediately applies line.
Still waiting.
Because I don't want to see.
No, I can see you.
But you're on delay, so you can't yell at me about this for another minute and a half. Time delay fights. All right, I'm going to this guy now. Can I move the camera before I get to him?
Move the camera.
All right. Just shift down, or just shift over, or both?
Over and down.
Over and down. All right. Hold on, everybody. It's about to get freaky.
Thing on Bugs' face.
It gets nauseous. And down.
Yeah. You have to move it over more even.
More. Oh, you're in delay.
I'm in delay, but I think as long as the camera goes down, I think it goes up. Yeah. I think that might be
Good to go?
good.
Alright. Trying to block them.
It could definitely go.
Go what?
The camera could go down more. It's just for Instagram. You're still in the text as well.
You're shaking my shoulder.
Yeah, try that. Yeah. And you could even zoom in a little bit if you want. Just a little. Let's try that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll let you know in 10 minutes. The delay is over.
Oh, you can't even see my adjustments I'm making?
I can on the live, but not on the live.
Should I even sit down yet?
Yeah. Okay. Because I can see the other side of the other guy a little bit.
The live feed? Yeah.
So you can actually move it again without too much trouble.
Okay.
So Alan says he's just building to sale. Hard to find engines or parts to rebuild them during the supply shortage.
Oh, for sure. Yep, this will be months of this. Yep, shaping whole hobbies of what you can do. Right before the pandemic started, I was restoring vintage bicycles from the 90s.
Vintage from the 90s, okay.
In mountain biking, that's considered vintage.
Okay.
But that was the time I used to work for a mountain bike company. I enjoyed the bikes from that period. Anyways, when it first started, right before it started, it was like the bikes were like, $40 and you could find them everywhere. And, and then the parts the bike shortage happened and bikes are, triple in value and then you couldn't find them anymore. And the whole hobby of me doing that just kind of got burned out because I couldn't find bikes to even start projects with. How dare you insult 90s anything?
He says my formative years were the early 90s. Customer service agent from the Zoomies told me I had a cool grandpa vibe going on. What?
I think she should have just punched that person directly in the face. Like,
oh, cool grandpa.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're definitely we know our 90s. Oh God, if someone would call me a grandma, Spot milk so good. You could do that back then.
Mm-hmm. Grandpa pipe.
Cool grandpa. Not a compliment any way, shape, or form. Especially to somebody who's like, what, 50? 40 something? It's my house. That's crazy.
Get off my lawn.
Get off, says the person complaining about their lawn.
Yeah. We're so old, it wasn't even a Karen back then. Didn't even know what to call Karens back then.
I know. Tony over on Instagram says awesome.
Yeah, thanks, Tony. Appreciate it. Thanks for hanging out with us. Good to finally be getting somewhere on this thing.
So, Junior Art Design over on Instagram is saying, hi David, what medium of paint do you use?
Hey Junior, thanks for joining us, hanging out. So right now you're watching me do enamel. basically this is like a sign painter's paint or a pinstriper's paint, like when you see on hot rods. That's what's going on here, and it's basically I go through and I line all my artwork with that. So the paint you see me painting, all this color like on the skeleton here is gouache, kind of like an opaque watercolor. So the first stage I do is the background, which is this part here. I don't know if you can see it in the frame, but this full background, that's acrylic. I paint the whole background, and then I trace my drawing onto the surface, and then I do all the gouache, which is again all the underpainting that you see here, all the colors. And the last stage is what I'm doing now, enamel. So it's just a 3-part process.
First said fab and chassis says badass. I need some work done.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Drop an email. And sell your firstborn. Because we don't take kids as payment.
No.
So we got some really fun stream projects coming up. A couple really large ones, one huge one that we'll share. Really amazing pirate painting that's going to be just a gigantic commission piece. It's 4 by 8 feet. So I'm really excited to share the process. I don't know how we're going to do it, how it's going to fit in the frame, but we'll figure out something to share it, because it's just going to be a huge monumental undertaking that I'm excited to share and show.
Jeez, Ken Burns is releasing a new Benjamin Franklin
documentary.
And it's spread over 4 hours in 2 nights.
It's a lot of Ben Franklin.
You love your Ken Burns, just so it's
I think I'm going to sit that one out.
Oof. Golly.
He's gotten a bit kooky.
Junior Art Design is saying, is that straight enamel, or do you thin it down with thinner towards the
So this great question. This is not straight enamel. Straight enamel is too maple syrupy. Is the best way to describe it. So I thin it down. I use a special thinner. It's called Darby's. I think it's only available at Pacific Coast Signs. I ordered online from them. They're up in Oregon. I love this stuff. It's all temperature. I've used it in 100 degrees. I've used it in 30 degrees, and it's just great. I think it's better than One Shot's version of thinner, and it's better than mineral spirits or any of those kind of homemade remedies and thinner and everything else everybody does. It is all reducers are basically a form of thinner, but this is great. I use it. I've used it for years. I've had no issues at all. Because I thin it, I can make these big strokes and not lose any opacity. I'm not losing, my lines aren't breaking. I'm able to kind of really smash in these big lines. Which is really why I use this over acrylic, because I can go in and make big long lines that are completely opaque from start to finish, and you just can't do that with acrylic. Are we boring you over there? Like, I've seen this whole game before.
Lens is bored.
Well, yeah. Tough crowd. This is a fun pose. I don't know why it's just for a sitting pose. It's very energetic to paint. It has a lot of interesting bone form. You've drawn up skeletons. The shape here, having it look into him almost. You're kind of looking into his, because he's hunched over towards you. You're able to kind of see into his rib cage and neck, and some of these clavicle and such. Is a neat angle to paint. Nerdy bone talk.
Junior art design thing, I use wash paint myself. I like that it dries fast and then layer. But we'll have to try acrylics to mix in. Any brands you recommend?
I would recommend, if you're buying paint for the first time, buy a few limited colors in something that's kind of student grade to start with. To see if you like the consistencies of it. I mean, if you're buying acrylics for the first time, just buy Liquitex. It's a good student level. Let you know if you like it or not. If you find you like it and you want to do more, then definitely move on to like a golden or a Holbein. I love their acrylics are super pigmented. I love that. But again, when you're trying out, just start with a few basic colors from a student grade to see if you like the type of medium before you invest any more than that. I can speak from experience. Get excited to try something and then you buy a bunch of colors and be like, this is not for me.
Junior saying I think that you go live painting and enjoy the process more as an artist.
Thanks, Junior. I love sharing the work and painting. My whole career, I did live demos at festivals and shows. So to me, this is I love to paint. I love to share it and kind of get people's reaction and show that it's hand painted, not computer. And so this is an important part of the work for me, for sure. Part of the process, part of the whole thing. Paint hand. That's why we go paint from right to left, because my big stupid hand. Yeah, that's annoying. Annoyingness. About 7,000 times a painting. So we just fixed it. That skeleton's booty just got a little bigger. That's how we fix that. Just trying to make it on the live stream.
Yeah, Jed. Junior saying, I've started doing some vendor shows, and every show is a learning experience. Any recommendations on work
Oh boy. So I did shows. Okay, this is gonna be a tough number too. We did shows for 10 years. and we probably did 60 or 70 different shows, maybe even more than that. Everything from huge festivals to Comic-Con San Diego and everything in between. Hot rod shows, tattoo shows, shows named after vegetables, you know, the avocado festival, the strawberry festival, the every kind of festival, fruit. So the key thing is that you have to find, first of all, you want to go with as many people as possible. And you want to find your crowd, your art. You should kind of know who follows your art, you know, based on as you start to get out there and share it, you know, who's buying your art. And so where are those people? Where are the events? You know, where they're large events, you know, the more people, the more chance there is you'll find your people in there. You know, and that's the key thing. And you want to basically have a good setup. You want to live paint if possible. You know, just show yourself making the work. It's just much more interesting for people to check out and see. But you got to kind of start small. Have what sells. You have to have prints. You can't just have originals. It just doesn't work that way. You want to have every price point you can have to really give people a chance to, you know, take home your art and learn and become fans of it. There's a billion things to learn, but you're right though. You learn something every single show. You kind of get better and better at it, and what you want to do, and where you want to go, and what you're trying to, you know, accomplish. But the key is to find shows with lots of people.
And from a business perspective, you know, don't eat in your booth. Don't.
Oh God, yes. Don't eat in your booth. Don't swear in your booth. Don't be a jerk. Don't wear sunglasses in your booth.
Yeah, don't wear sunglasses. You know, look people in the eye. You can dress casually. We've been to hot rod shows. And stuff.
Oh yeah.
Dress of the scene, but you know, don't be a slob.
You're selling yourself.
Don't drink booze.
Yeah, you're selling yourself as well as the art, and you want to represent. You want to be, you know, respectable. You want to be, you know, you're there. It's like a job interview kind of thing where you're showing your work for people for the first time, and you want to tell your story.
Yeah, we do a lot of, and obviously know a lot of artists that do shows, and the things we're naming is not nitpicky. Like those are mistakes artists have made. Like just, you know, the sunglasses. Nobody wants to talk to somebody wearing sunglasses. We don't know where you're looking or what you're doing. You know, nobody wants to see you eating.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to overhear your conversations with your spouse or fighting with your children, or don't bring your dog to the event. You know, there's just you have to be professional. This is maybe the one time someone's going to see you and your art, and you want to make the best impression possible. So treat it like work, like it's a brand and it's a business, no matter how small you are, even your first show.
Well, and
be respectful to people.
And the reason you do that is some of my biggest events, my biggest relationships, Fender, El Jimador Tequila, all came from them seeing me at a show.
Yeah.
And speaking to me.
Yeah.
You know, that's how Disney, my artist in residence, my relationship with Disney, all came from them seeing me at a show. This is why you have to represent well, be professional, you know, and do these things, because that's what attracts clients and collectors. We name all these things because we've seen all these things constantly done.
And we have artist friends who know better and drink too much the night before, you know, come in kind of late and their booth isn't like ready for presentation. They're kind of still unpacking and cleaning up while people are coming in. Just all the things that happen, of course, that can happen, but you just got to try to account for it. Always leave early, you know, get there early. Like, be like the best student you can be, you know what I mean? Like, be the best representation, you know, of yourself that you can be. Need to move your head back.
I know, one second. Gotta make a line.
I don't want to see all
I know, my head has to be in there for this line. There we go.
Jennifer 1998 says hi from San Diego.
Hey, Jennifer 1998.
Byron says looking good.
Hey, thanks, man. Appreciate it. Glad you don't hate it.
Renan Arts Tattoo over on Instagram says Brazil is here.
Brazil's in the house. Hey, Renan, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it. We have a lot of followers from Brazil and still have not made it there.
No, I wish we could.
Should I move to the third skeleton?
Well, we're an hour right now.
All right.
I think you could wrap it up.
Wrap it up. Enough skeletons. Why are you guys here anyways? Let me just tuck that. All right, guys, get your questions in. We're going to wrap it up in a few minutes. If you're watching this afterwards, feel free to post your question in there and I'll get to it for sure. We will be doing another live stream maybe this week if we get aggressive. If not, definitely next week. So come back and join us again. This is how we do now. We retired from festivals, so this is how you see us. So again, we appreciate you guys hanging out. Hope you had a great time. Have a great rest of your Monday. Tuesday if you're over the International Day line. And thanks again for hanging out. Take care.